Great, cool.
I'm on there as a viewer. Please help moderate. Mike. Hey everyone, Mike's my business partner. He'll help moderate. I am so sorry about this. I can't explain it enough on how sorry I am. I know this makes me look terrible. You don't even know how long I've been cussing and stuff. I usually don't cuss, but there's no excuses for this. I take full blame on it. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue as normal. On the last day where I show my screen, I will also do the presentation there. So mine will be twice as long, all right? And because we're live and because of this mess up, I'm gonna show you guys some crazy stuff that people probably never talk about in the SEO industry. Can you guys see my screen right now? I'm gonna share my screen.
Yep, we can see your screen.
All right, I'm gonna show you guys some crazy stuff and stats that most people don't even do in the marketing world, right? So here's the first thing, right? I've been doing a lot of tests on this, in which when you take your site and you buy domain names. So I recently bought a domain name, ubersuggest.io. As you can see, it slashes to neilpatel.com/keyword tool. All right, that's because it's in not an incognito. It's pretty much a cache version. So here's Ubersuggest. Now, I undid the redirect because there was issues in which the tool that I built isn't as good as the original. But I'm gonna show you guys some crazy analytics. My analytics over the last few months are all hodgepodge, but that's because I took off my international domain names from Neil Patel. It used to be neilpatel.com/de, right? But now as you see, the domain changes to .de. I did that for all my regions and languages. For that, you see traffic drops if you start looking at it like from February to March. But in theory, my traffic's actually up for, English has stayed the same and all the other regions are going up. But check out what's crazy here, right? So let's go for the month of April or month of March, and let's look at Ubersuggest. So as you can see, I bought this site for $120,000 USD. All right, and they're getting 7,900 visitors a day going to that page. Now, if I go to the Neil Patel page, what I've learned is when you combine one site with another site that is doing really well, you don't get actually the same amount of traffic. You get a huge increase. So if they're getting 7,000 visitors and your site already has a ton of traffic, what we're noticing is when you 301 sites from within your industry and you combine them, there's even a bigger lift. So I just 301 redirect them to the content tool, the keyword tool. And if you look at the keyword tool, right, as I started doing it, I started getting huge increases. Not the 7,000 that they were getting per day. This is full, 13,700, then it goes down to 11,000, then it goes down to 9,000. You're starting to see a drop here because users were actually mad with my tool. They were mad because the tool didn't work in multiple languages, while the original one did work in multiple languages, right? And then I started switching it back over to ubersuggest.io, and you see the drop because sometimes it was converting into this site and then sometimes it wasn't doing the 301 redirect because I put it over, but there's DNS propagation, and most traffic comes from people Googling Ubersuggest. And if you did a Google search for it, what you'll notice is the Neil Patel site still ranks, but the Neil Patel site was #1, and that's where I was getting a lot of the traffic from, right? So just showing you which, if you can buy sites within your space that have a lot of backlinks and that are doing extremely well, and you combine them, you can actually do better by combining both of them. So if they were getting 5,000 visitors a day from Google and you're getting 5,000 visitors a day, you combine it, you'll typically get more than 10,000 visitors. I've tested this. Eric Sue from Single Grain has tested it. I'm not going to go into his personal sites, but usually when you're combining really popular sites, you're seeing where you're getting like you're getting like a 20 to 30% extra lift by combining, assuming they're in the same space. And just to give you an idea on the backlink count, right? Ahrefs is slow to pick it up, but Ubersuggest had a total of 4,000 plus unique referring domain names. It's switching all up here because a lot of the links come from ubersuggest.org because they switched their domain names, and I also redirected that one, but they had 6,000 plus referring domain names. You see the spikes up and down because I was switching a lot of the 301s. And then from neilpatel.com, you'll start seeing a lot of backlinks as well, referring domain names. 1 year, where is it? Did I spell something wrong? It's HTTPS. I'm not a HTTPS site. Let's do HTTP. All right. So as you can see from the Neil Patel site, a lot of backlinks, right? You're seeing the climb from combining. You don't get huge lifts if you don't combine relevant sites. It has to be sites within your space, and you have to provide value. So if Ubersuggest is a keyword tool, then you got to put a keyword tool back on your website. If you're combining blogs, I also did this test with marketingpilgrim.com, and I got 0 lift from it. And I just took their domain and I 301 redirected it. I bought that site from Andy Beal for $100,000, right? So that was my $100,000 loss. Probably not a smart move. I bought it over text messaging. It was a kind of funny story because either I was the stupidest guy in the room or the smartest guy in the room, depending on what, right? Because he had 10,000 unique backlinks. And I quickly learned that from Google, like analyzing the trends in the data, and Eric and I were comparing the data, you can't just 301 any site. The site has to get a lot of Google traffic. Marketing Pilgrim did not get a lot of traffic. It was pretty much a dead site. It used to get traffic back in the day, but Beal didn't really maintain the blog well. Pilgrim.com. And as you can see, marketingpilgrim.com, they never had a lot of search traffic. It was always around 2,000 visitors a day. So this only works if 1, the site you're doing has a lot of search traffic already, 2, has a lot of unique backlinks, and 3, what we found is look for the sites that have a lot of brand queries. Brand queries mean they're keywords. So if I go to google.com/trends, and you can see brand queries here. So let's type in Marketing Pilgrim. Funny enough, I was not planning on presenting this, and nor did I ever want to present this, but you guys are seeing it. I'm just trying to make up to you guys. But as you can see, nothing shows up in Google Trends if something doesn't have a strong brand query. Now let's look at Ubersuggest. You see how it's continually climbing? Really popular, right? More and more people are searching for it. Hence, when you 301 a domain that has a lot of brand queries, it's in your space, you're trying to improve upon the product, you will see a great increase. Continually go out there and look for more sites that you can acquire. If you're in our space, you guys have heard of Search Engine Watch. I didn't pull it up. I recently tried buying them. I was willing to offer them $2 million. They get a ton of search traffic. They wouldn't even entertain any offers. It's owned by a private equity company. They do really bad. But yeah, I've been placing offers for everyone. I placed an offer to Search Engine Journal. They never really responded. But I'm just going out there trying to buy everyone literally in my space. The bigger, the better. It's easier. I know this takes a lot of money. But Eric from Single Grain, he doesn't have the capital that I do. So he's been buying sites for like $1,000. I'm not joking. Like he ranks on Google on the first page for a lot of the senior care terms. And he's going after a place for mom. If you guys are familiar with a place for mom, it's a multi-$100 million company. My guess is they're worth around $300 to $400 million right now. And I'm not going to share Eric's domain, but he's competing with them. He's ranking high like they are, and he's been buying up players for, I kid you not, a few $100s to like $1,000, 301ing their ranking or 301ing their site to his site. And a lot of his rankings went from page nowhere to page 1. And the sites he was 301 redirecting, they were on page 3 for a lot of the terms, but he realized by combining them into one website, your rankings just skyrocket, and they've been maintaining them. We've been doing a lot of this stuff for like 6 months. A black hat way of doing this is buying irrelevant sites and 301 redirecting them. I would not recommend that. It doesn't work well. You need to do the white hat way, buy other quality sites within your space. Look for sites with traffic that aren't making money. redirect them to your website, and then from there, you'll see an increase because you're making one bigger site that's more authoritative, because Google's algorithm works in a logarithmic scale in which the more backlinks you get, the higher domain authority, your rankings increase quicker. So that's a tactic I want to share with you guys today. I don't really ever talk about it. You can do this really affordably. Clayton, if you're still there, should we do some Q&A and answer people's questions for like 5-7 minutes before the next session starts? Clayton, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Should we answer some people's questions? Again, everyone, I'm really sorry. I'll make it up with my closing keynote. I'll do 2 sessions there, and I'll show you guys some stuff that you guys probably have never seen. And I'll show all my analytics and reveal the stats on Neil Patel, and like literally show you the exact steps I took it to grow from 9,000 to 400 and something thousand. And then you guys can literally just copy it, and I'm laying it out for you in a step-by-step form. I'm really sorry. I don't know how to make it up for you other than showing you guys stuff that you can't see anywhere else.
Maybe Sai can help. Sai,
Yeah.
are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so Neil, so the first question
question.
coming up from Sanjay. How do you promote a small business website? Unlike a blog, the content can be updated less frequently, and business owners do not have the bandwidth to spend more than 2 to 3 hours a week on updating content. Do small business websites have any hope in hell to rank against large business websites?
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen here again, and I can actually answer this question really easily. Can you see my screen or no?
I just see your face.
You just see my face. Can you share my screen? All right, you can see my screen now, right?
There it is.
So, and I'll go over more of this on, what is it called? On Thursday, I think, what my closing keynote is. So
Yeah.
there was an experiment that I ended up running, and I'm going through my slides. Okay, so you can see experiment number 6. And I was talking about how keyword density versus thoroughness. And I was testing this out because it's like, how does the big players compete with the small guys, or the small guys more so compete with the big guys? And what I found is you don't have to have the most backlinks, brand authority, or anything like that. Google shifted their algorithm with the Hummingbird update, and the sites that are the most thorough rank the best. And I used to shove a lot of keywords onto my site. I used to put the keywords in the URL, within the H1 tag, within the first sentence. And here was my keyword density for my old page, like on how to start a blog post. And as you can see, I never cared about the keyword density. And then once I started shoving it in there, right, you can see the phrases range. Before it used to be like reply Neil Patel, blog, reply to Neil Patel glad, thank you for. And it's changed to like types of bloggers suited for your blog, blogging platform, domain, bloggers, blog, etc. And I realized when I adjusted the keyword density, my rankings didn't change much. In which they went and they stayed on page 2, on page 3, right? But then when I made my content more thorough, I shifted from page 3 to 2. And you don't have to have the most backlinks or anything. Here's a screenshot of me on page 2 now, and I'm actually mid to top of page 2. And what I learned when I was trying to rank for all the how to start blog terms is other people were talking about like just creating a blog and signing up on WordPress because they're just trying to make WordPress affiliate commissions. But I'm like, wait, all right, me and Andrew, who's the next speaker, we were just like, what's all the, when you're trying to start a blog, what are some of the questions? We're like, wait, you also have to think about blogging platforms. There's more than WordPress. There's Wix, there's Blogger, there's Medium. So we created a way more thorough page. And if you look on my page right now on how to start a blog, it's way more thorough. So I don't focus on keyword density anymore. But I talk about, hey, if you're going to start a blog, you have to come up with topics. And I show the topics. Then I talk about choosing your domain name, right? And then I even go to like how to find a domain name. And then I go into hosting. And then I go into blogging platforms. And you can see like I cover all of them. WordPress, Tumblr, Ghost, who no one ever even talks about, Joomla, Weebly, right? And I'm sharing all of them. And I'm actually going in depth on every single one. And what I found is it's not about keyword density, it's about thoroughness. And the more thorough you go about describing each and every single thing within your space, you can climb up really fast, and you don't even have to have as many backlinks or domain authority or any of that compared to the competition. And I kid you not, my rankings have climbed faster from this than anything else. Like, you're talking about a matter of like a week, 2 weeks, where I'm climbing up by like a whole page. While normally my rankings take me like 6 months to a year to really climb towards the top. And I learned that if you're super thorough, your rankings climb faster than anything else. So, and that just gives you an example, right? And like, this page has over 874 comments. Next question. If you don't mind, Sai, can you please let us know the next one?
For sure, nice. Okay, next question is from Deborah. It's got 101 votes. Given Google's continued efforts to eliminate free keyword data, how can a microbiz get solid keyword research data without breaking the bank on agency fees or paid keyword tools?
Sure, sounds good. So, by the way, Sai, how many people are live right now?
We've got around 4,000 people here.
Perfect. Okay. So this is a tool I acquired. It's free, and I never plan on charging from it. So you can go to Ubersuggest and you type in a keyword. Let's say you type in the keyword SEO, right? Well, the beautiful part is on the Ubersuggest homepage. I'll have to go back. Okay, you can see that if you download this free Chrome extension, Keyword Everywhere, you can get bidding data. So Ubersuggest, I don't have it installed right now, but it'll give you all the keyword data for any topic. I don't know why I typed in Ubersuggest. I'm supposed to type in a keyword. Like, let's say I type in SEO. So I type in SEO, and it's loading. And you can see all the suggestions, right? Like SEO analysis, analyzer, etc. And if you downloaded that Chrome extension, you can get all the keywords, search volume, etc., all for free. Won't cost you $1. No one's ever planning on charging anything for it. It's just a ton of free data without having to use Google Keyword Planner or any paid versions.
Cool.
Nice, nice.
Okay, Sai, I can go ahead and take over the questions. There's a couple of good ones here. Neil, let me know when you're ready for the next one.
I'm ready.
All right. So we've got Abhay here with 68 votes for this question. They're asking, what are the best ways to do local SEO and rank better a maps listing?
Sure. So I'm in Seattle right now where I live. Check this out. You can claim any listing. Like, let's do Neil Patel, right? I experiment a lot. Look, I have a local business, me and cookies and stuff like that. I claimed my condo where I live. And you know, the funny thing I learned about local listings, it's a few things. One, you want good reviews, so have people review you. Two, make sure you have keywords on your page. Three, Tyler, who is speaking later on, you can ask him this as well. You can actually claim multiple listings because on your contact page, you can have a lot of different locations, assuming you do have a lot of locations. You can submit all of them too, and you can start ranking really well. And then what I do is I use a service called Get Listed, which is now Moz Local, getlisted.org. I think it redirects to moz.com/local. And then it just helps you get listed everywhere else. And then what I do is I then go to all the Chamber of Commerce. So like Seattle Chamber of Commerce, okay? And I hit up all the local business websites, like the Seattle one. They all have resource pages, and I kid you not, if you have a local business and you ask them to support you and link to you, a lot of them will from their resource pages. So just go to all your local Chamber of Commerce, and you'll find that, like you see here, Alaska Airlines, Boeing, they're all getting links. It's a great way to get links from all the localized places, and then your local rankings just shoot up, and they don't charge for this. They do all this stuff, and they like helping out the local businesses for free.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Good stuff. Okay, we're actually out of time. Again, we're going to have Neil come back at the end and re-present on Thursday for the closing keynote. So anybody that didn't get their questions answered this morning, we'll make sure and save those and add those to the questions at the end on Thursday. We're going to get going with the next presenter so that we can stay on track so that everybody gets as much content as they can.
Yep.
And Neil will make up for it on the end. Neil, thank you so much for the short 20 minutes. We're looking forward to hearing you at the end of this thing.
And I promise to share with you guys, all of you guys, some cool shit that you haven't seen anywhere else. Thank you, everyone. And I'm so sorry. I really am.
Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it. Okay, everybody, listen out for the next session. Vasile will call you into it, and we'll get started there. Thanks.